Hello. Talking a little about Star Wars today, more specifically talking about R2D2 and C3PO. Got to thinking, based on the first movie, R2, pretty much everything, he's an android. They're both androids. Everything R2 does is logical, in the first movie at least. And because he's an android. And, got to thinking about this, and sort of interesting that they managed to pull this off. I don't know if they thought about it when they made the movie or what, but, it all starts with basically, he's given orders. He follows the orders in the most logical manner. That's his main purpose is to follow orders. He's, belonged to Princess Leia. She gave him to Obi-Wan. Luke buys him. R2 continues to follow his orders to go to Obi-Wan because that's who owns him. He fulfills his mission, gives the files for the Death Star to Obi-Wan. Continues to follow Obi-Wan, Now, okay, we gotta take these to the Rebel base, so he sticks with Obi-Wan, does the logical thing. Obi-Wan dies. Bump, bump, bump. Now what happens? Well, Luke was Obi had acted as Luke's mentor. Technically, Luke's family had bought R2D2, so default, new master. It was logical to start following Luke. Plus, still has this original mission. He delivered the plans, which was the original mission, but now we've still got to get them to the rebels. The original plan, get them to Obi-Wan, which they did. Obi's new plan, let's get them to the rebels, which now that's the new plan. New orders to follow, so to speak. Now, along the way, certain things happened where people would say, this was emotion. When he first left the not the Imperial ship, but Leia's ship, he takes C3PO along with him because they're such good friends. Not really. He takes C3PO along with him because he needs a translator. The original Star Wars, beep boop, beep boop, boop, nobody understood that but C3PO. Later movies, Luke learned to understand it because it's a robot language. Like any other language, you can learn it. And since Luke owned R2D2, he learned to speak R2's language. Because R2 wasn't programmed to speak English. That or he had his ship translator do it and we just didn't see it. We don't know. But R2 needed a translator. That's the only reason he had to bring C3PO with him. They land on Tatooine. C3PO wants to go one way. R2 wants to go on his mission. The illogical thing to do is to leave C3PO behind because he can't force C3PO to follow him. So, does the logical thing. Ignores C3PO. They get captured by the Death Star. Now what? Well, the princess is on the ship. An emotional response. No, it could just be a matter-of-fact thing. He's going through the ship's database and notices that the princess is in a prison cell. It could also be a way to spur... He's been with Luke long enough to know that this could spur Luke into action and we can actually get back, if we rescue the princess, we can escape and get back on our mission of getting the plans to the rebels. So, that was another reason he might have said that. Again, there was a logical... It wasn't, my beloved princess is in trouble, we must rescue her. It was, this is a chance to, it's either this is a chance to get the mission back on track, or this is just some information I came across because, hey, we all have a vested interest in the princess. So here she is. Let's just, point out that she's here. He never suggested they rescue her. He just pointed out that she was there. Now, so far as the rest of the movies go, does he continue in this? And I don't know. I basically don't have Star Wars on disc or anything like that because you can't get it without the CGI version, and CGI, they really ruined Star Wars with CGI. It just became bad. So I never bothered to buy it. Haven't had time to analyze the other movies and see how R2 has responded or how he's behaved. Off the top of my head, I'd say for the most part, he continued to be logical throughout most of it. Or he was either obeying orders, which was what his main function, or he was, when he had to ad lib, he was being logical. Now, C3PO, on the other hand, appears to be non-logical, but is that really true? We got this very emotional robot. Well, he was programmed that way, I would say. Remember, he's always pointing out, I'm a protocol droid. So basically, he's the butler droid. He was, meant to go on diplomatic missions. That's why he was probably assigned to Princess Leia in the first place, is she was a princess. We need someone who, she's going to be going into these diplomatic, situations. She's going to need someone who can point out what to do and how to react. Having a robot along, people don't want the robot telling them how to do things. No, this is the way. These are their manners. These are their customs. Do it this way. So they attempted to program emotion into him. Now, unfortunately, you can't really program emotions into a machine that well. So most of his emotional responses come out very exaggerated, very panicky, very whatever. It's you can't look at it as this is an emotional robot. You have to look at it as this is a human's attempt to program emotions into a robot. So of course it's going to be exaggerated. Of course it's not going to be an accurate reflection because it's not true emotion. It's an attempt to simulate emotion. So C3PO, again, a lot of what he does, I'm not going to say he's as logical as R2D2 because he's not, but much of what he does, there is an underlying logic to it. Even like, they go to Jabba the Hutt and yes, we want you to set our friends free, and in exchange I will give you these 2 droids. Are you sure you're reading that right? Because it is a logical question. Obviously the humans care about the droids as much as they care about their friends. I mean, they've gone out of their way to rescue the droids in the past. So they aren't, it's logical to assume they aren't just going to trade them for another person. They're as much a part of the team as anyone else. They've been treated like it for the past 3 movies. So, the idea that C3PO would ask that question is, in effect, logical. That he would say it with such emotion in his voice, that's again part of his programming. He's programmed to attempt to simulate emotion because protocol droid, he's meant to be in situations where people are more relaxed around people showing emotion. So again, it's harder to see the logic in C3PO, but it's there. And again, as I said, this is, of course, going on with mainly based on the first movie, because, like I said, I haven't gone back and I thought about this after seeing the first movie at one point, and I just, like I said, haven't had time to go through and find a non-CGI version of one of the other movies that I'd want to watch, because I have caught a few on TV. Been out at a restaurant, they got, oh look, Star Wars on the, so I'll watch part of this, and yeah, the CGI is really bad. So I'd really like to find a video on disc which has the original characters or puppets, and the worst special. It's not that CGI is a bad thing. It's of and by itself, but it's just when they try to fit it into Star Wars and they try to, take away the big mechanical puppets and put graphics over them, they did a bad job of it. So I much prefer my Star Wars with puppets. I much prefer my androids logical, which again, the original episode 4 of Star Wars gave us logical androids, even though one of them acted like he had emotions. He didn't really. He had simulations of emotions which were somewhat logically done for him. And so that's all I had to say on the subject, and I hope you enjoyed.